Remember my last video where we talked about how all stories follow certain patterns and structures? Well, what if I told you that's not the whole story? Welcome to Post-Structuralism, where we're about to question everything we thought we knew about meaning and literature. Hi, my name is Moana, and this is my reading buddy Spike. And I am a reading and writing lover who disliked English class as both a student and a teacher, and I am now documenting my journey of rediscovering my love for words. This video is part of my literature theory series. See the link in the description to watch the entire playlist. Today, we're exploring post-structuralism, the theory that suggests meanings are never fixed, everything is open to interpretation, and maybe, just maybe, we can't be certain about anything. Think of meaning like a kaleidoscope. Turn it one way and you see one pattern. Turn it another way and you see something completely different. Neither view is wrong, and there are infinite possibilities. Post-structuralists say that meaning isn't fixed, stable, universal, or controlled by the author. Instead, meaning is always changing, context-dependent, created by readers, and full of contradictions. Post-structuralists will deconstruct a text to find contradictions such as what it says versus what it does, and what's present in the story versus what's absent. As an example, let's deconstruct Little Red Riding Hood. This famous story claims to warn about strangers, but at the same time, it also suggests that some strangers, like the woodcutter, are good. It claims to empower readers by teaching them how to be safe, but at the same time, it implies that young women can't protect themselves if they encounter danger. Basically, the same story elements that supposedly teach empowerment actually reinforce powerlessness. So it's like the story is arguing with itself. This is exactly what post-structuralists love, showing how texts contain opposing messages that undermine their own apparent meanings. So the basic gist of this theory is that the meaning of every element in a story isn't fixed because everything is always full of contradictions that can change at any moment. So how is this different from reader response theory? Reader response theory is dependent on the reader and how he or she interprets a story. But post-structuralism says that meaning itself is inherently unstable and contradictory. Therefore, there is never any single interpretation to any story. Post-structuralism applies not just in analyzing literature, but also everywhere in our digital world. A great example of this would be with the "This is fine" dog meme. It originally started as a comic about denial, and then it became about coping with stress, and it is now used for everything from politics to student life. Each new use creates new meanings, and it's not restricted to any former meaning. So going back to books, we're seeing classic books getting new interpretations, readers challenging traditional readings, different generations seeing different meanings, and cultural perspectives shifting understanding. I think this is especially relevant when we think about certain books that were acceptable before, but are now thought of as offensive or politically incorrect. So in other words, context provides meaning to everything. Understanding post-structuralism helps us to think critically, consider multiple perspectives, question assumptions, and appreciate complexity. So I think another really good relevant example that just came to my mind was classic Disney movies that were all based on storybooks. I really enjoyed them exactly how they were when I was a kid, and I'm sure that a lot of other people did too. But it seems like now a lot of people are seeing them as stories about keeping women dependent on men and having to be rescued, which is why we're seeing all of these modernized remakes. When we were kids, the stories didn't seem like a big deal, but in our current society, where there is a lot more awareness about women's empowerment, it seems like a lot of people are saying that they are no longer appropriate. So, all of this proves what post-structuralists say, that stories don't have fixed meanings. So, I don't really want to get too into controversy since I've been seeing a lot of anger online over many of these Disney remakes. But if you can think of any stories that you loved as a kid that are no longer really acceptable, let me know about them down in the comments. In my next video, we're going to talk about eco-criticism, where we explore how literature depicts nature and the environment. Thank you so much for joining me for this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. Until next time, happy reading and see you soon. Bye!